Well, what I've seen is a lot of law enforcement around the state take this very seriously. It is not a joke to threaten violence at a school. Some people think that that's funny. Some people think that they can get attention from that. Some people get a kick at creating anxiety in the community. I can tell you in Florida, if you're doing that, you're going to be held accountable. We're going to prosecute you. You look at Volusia County Sheriff, you look at Grady Judd, you look at people around the state. I think they're taking it very, very seriously. And yes, look, we stand by to help. We've done more on school security than any state in the United States since I've been governor, and part of that was because I became governor on the heels of the Parkland massacre down in South Florida. And so if you look at whether it's school resource officers, whether it's the funding that has gone for school hardening, whether it's things like the Guardian program, which acts as a deterrent, we've taken this issue very, very seriously. But fake threats, it's not a joke, and we'll hold you accountable if you're doing that. So I've actually been pleased to see a very robust response on the local level. If there's things that the state can do to be helpful, we will. But this has not been something that our state and locals or our local officials and law enforcement have been ignoring. I think they've been very proactive on it, and I think you need to do that to be able to help people. And you got to take this stuff seriously. How many times do we see somebody committing, really horrific act of violence, and then there's nothing in their background at all that people would suspect? That's actually rare. It's usually you can point to things in their background where they have acted out or made threats or talked about. I mean, this guy in Georgia, 14 years old, he was talking about doing this, and they kind of just didn't. I think the FBI was apprised of it. FBI didn't take action. In Florida, one of the things we said was we're going to take those threats seriously. We actually have behavioral threat assessment that Florida Department of Law Enforcement started back in 2019, and the goal of it is to take these threats seriously. If it creates part of a profile that has been replicated in other places where people have acted out, then you take it seriously and you have an intervention. And if people, with Parkland, that shooter should have been prosecuted multiple times for different conduct. He had all these red flags, and they basically just passed the buck. So our view is, don't pass the buck, be serious about it, hold people accountable. And I do think, from what I've seen, I think whether it's Sheriff Chitwood in Volusia, whether you have people like Grady Judd, I know Sheriff Chronister, we've got a lot of folks who are very, very steadfast in policing this stuff. And again, if it's a real threat, that's of course serious. But if it's a fake, if it's a hoax, if you think you're doing that because you're going to get kicks or you think it's funny, no, you're going to face the music on that. So just be prepared for that, and that's what'll happen.